our capital bill, corrections bill, that sort of thing. But I certainly will take that back. I couldn't agree with you more. It's not even just in automobile drivers, as you well know. It's other modes as well, and it's extremely dangerous. I would remind all of you that the National Safety Council has proven that using a phone while driving, hands on or hands off, is more dangerous than drunk driving. So we are very committed to safety, and I appreciate your nudge on this. And I would very much appreciate if you just give me a note, and perhaps we can talk further about this. Thank you.
You mentioned earlier something about the I believe the 3C rail would reach 60% of Ohio's population.
Mm-hmm.
I'm first of all curious, like how you define it as reaching. I mean, how far from the train station do you have to be for it to reach you? And second of all, do you plan, or how likely is it that there will be funds for example, like a bus system or some kind of shuttle system to bridge the gap between where someone lives and the actual train station to make it a really practical alternative to driving?
First of all, in terms of reach them, it needs to be a reasonable choice for somebody. I mean, we're not talking 150 miles away or something like that. In addition, we will only be successful with partners. I guess that's a theme you've heard me say a few times today. And our partners in transit, in aviation, at ports, are all places where these riders will want to go, in addition to downtown areas and suburban areas. And I think, people always bring up, oh gosh, what do you do when you get there? And I wonder if they said the same thing when they began building airports. Do you think so? We figured it out then, and we're going to figure it out now. You in Cleveland are extremely well positioned with connections already to the airport. You probably have, I think it's true to say, Joe, more connections by various modes than any other city in our state. And so we're envious of you, and we want to make sure that other cities in Ohio have the same kind of opportunity. Quite frankly, my greatest dream is that we will get close at some time, maybe it's 30 years out. But if you recall, this is really going back to the future in a way. Because in the early part of the 19th century, of the 20th century, the 1900s, there was what was called the interurban system. And it went 90 miles an hour. It was electrically powered. It was actually run by the power companies, and it went to every city in Ohio of 5,000 or more. Now, we might want to evolve those numbers, but I believe that it is our challenge to create mobility options for everybody in this state. I believe that's why Ohio will be the place to be for every part of the demographic spectrum. I am hopeful that the wonderful, smart, bright young people who are educated in our unbelievable system of universities and colleges will choose to stay here, have a job here, and want to have the fun of being able to visit our remarkable set of 7 major cities and 10 middle-sized cities that have so much history and wonderful opportunity.
You will be supervising many, many projects, many more than you've ever supervised at one time. Where are you going to get the resources for the inspectors and the engineers?
Thank you for your question, and you are absolutely right. And when I say the following, which is factual, that we have the biggest construction investment by a third than ever in the state of Ohio's history, and we are at a 30-year low in terms of people. I think our Chief of Staff, Steve Campbell, will tell you that just about every single meeting we have, I always ask that question: how are we doing on resources? Do we have the right number? Do we have the right skill sets? Obviously, we're going to be using not only our full complement of internal ODOT resources, we will also use the partners that we use all the time, and that is our private sector contractors who partner with us and help us do a pristine job, and I will use that word again, a pristine job of overseeing and assuring quality, safe, delivered on time contracts. And it is, our challenge we have in this United States, in Ohio, the most multimodal set of stimulus investments in the nation. We have the most local lets in the nation. And that is a challenge because we want to work with our local partners in cities and MPOs and elsewhere as we've never worked before. It's our challenge to be cognizant that we're in the customer service business. We need to assure their success, and when they are successful, we will be successful.
Director Molitoris, you mentioned the highly competitive nature of stimulus dollars, and we know that Ohio is, I think, at a good advantage because the President and Secretary of Labor, Hilda Solis, has made it clear they want to see strong plans for inclusion of women, minorities, low-income folks, veterans. And here in Ohio, thanks to the leadership of ODOT, we've had a wonderful project for 2 years called Women in Ohio Roadways Construction, which we're thrilled that the Department of Labor has just extended that grant for a year. Yes. And you recently made an announcement about expansion of on-the-job training to reach out to women and minorities, and specifically workforce, not just DBEs, but workforce. Can you talk more about that?
Well, as I mentioned in my remarks, we feel very committed to assuring that everyone who wants to work in the transportation industry has, to the greatest extent of our resource investment levels, that opportunity. I am very excited about the new Office of Equal Opportunity that has been created in the department. That will have its own deputy director, which we're recruiting for, so if anybody has any ideas for us, please come forward. And we have a wonderful team of committed people. We know we've done well. We've actually been cited by FHWA as being a leader, but we know we can do more. And that's the governor's commitment. We want the full spectrum of Ohioans to take advantage of this investment opportunity, and we want to create the workforce of the future right now. And that's why this Interbelt Bridge is such a great opportunity, because if they're going to be trained anywhere, why not right here in Cleveland? That's how we feel.
Today at the City Club of Cleveland Forum, we have been listening to Jolene Molitoris, Director of the Ohio Department of Transportation. Thank you, Ms. Molitoris. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This forum is now adjourned.
For information on upcoming speakers or for podcasts of the City Club, go to cityclub.org.